So I want to show you a clip that we've never aired. It's going to be in our documentary. So you truly, truly could see exactly the devastation in Flint. This was from this summer. We have never aired it. It will be in our documentary, but I want you to see what people are dealing with while they shut down those water pods. Here we go.
We've been here since 2 months.
Yeah. So moved here 2 months ago. Was there any issues with your kids before you moved here?
No.
And what's going on now?
Right now, my daughter, as you can see, have all these spots on her legs from them telling me that I can give her water out of the tap water. I have sickle cell. I've been going in and out of the hospital every other 4 days. My blood levels is steady dropping. My blood levels was normal at an 8.9. I've been standing at like a 6.2 where I have to get 4 units. I've been in a lot of crisis. I've actually been drinking water out of the faucet. Just recently, since we moved here, the city people showed up and put a dipstick up under there and told me it was safe to give it to my kids.
Was it 10 seconds or 10 minutes? I thought you said.
10 minutes. I'm sorry, 10 minutes. And they told me it was safe to give it to my kids. I've been giving it to my kids, and my daughter have caught several rashes. First, they start off to blisters, and then she scratched them to sores.
Did they come in and test themselves, or they just gave you the bottle to do it yourself?
No, they test.
Okay. Was it just the kitchen, the bathroom too?
The kitchen, just the kitchen.
Okay. And when they did it, do you remember if they turned the water on and took the sample right away, or did they let it run
They
first?
let it run a while.
What's a while? How long?
Oh man, I don't know. They just said they had to let it run enough for the distance between here and from the road to the house.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, then do it. So I don't know more than that.
That's the bullshit they've been telling people.
Oh, can you say bullshit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that all along.
The folks that came in the first place, were they the poor people with the sound go? And, okay, so they put it under after 10 minutes, and then what happened?
After that, they just told me my water was safe.
And it's not like they didn't take any samples, like putting it in a bottle. It was just a dipstick.
It was just a dipstick. They didn't come with no clear tube or anything, just a dipstick.
And how many kids do you have living there?
2.
So this one we've seen, it's basically like white splotches. Can we see this one again? And what about the other one? Has the other kid had these problems too?
Actually, no. His lead levels is at a 4. I haven't got her lead levels checked yet, but I'm working on going tomorrow and get it checked.
When did you get the other child's lead checked?
I want to say back in May. No, back in April, because that's when my wake up appointment was, and it was at 4.
So
I actually have the lead level card. So.
And did you live with the other child? Did you live in Flint before with him?
Yes, I actually lived on Carr Street when they started saying that the water was messed up.
Carr Street?
The car where the apartments is, right there.
Okay. Okay, so he had previous consumption of the water when they switched the water.
Yeah.
Okay. And has you said you have sickle cell. Has it gotten worse since you moved into this home?
It's gotten worse since the water been messed up. When we was running out of water and I didn't have a car, I was drinking water out of the faucet.
And now, what choice do you have if they shut down the water stations where you can get free water?
I still drink out the faucet water.
Yeah. Do you have a filter at least on it?
Yeah, Brita. But when I talked to 211, they basically said it's okay to drink it.
Have you had any problems health-wise since the water switch?
Itching, breaking down, stuff like that.
My teeth. Yeah, so.
And I've had pneumonia. I'm scared and I hear.
Go ahead, get it. Bro, I'm telling you. And I get them like, just bro. And they were worse.
My daughter did have a miscarriage.
He was at Heritage Manor. Went to McLaren where they had the Legionnaires. My father is dead.
She
Yeah,
didn't have
she-
any of this before you moved in here.
She had clear skin. Nothing was on her body. Nothing. Like, even scratches coming across her face. She was like, no.
So when they came to your home and they ran it for a while and this and that, what specifically did they say after? What did they say as far as like, it's good, blah, blah, blah? Did they tell you they could drink it? What did they say?
This exact words was, y'all water over here is good. Y'all is drinkable. And ever since he said that, as you can see, I've been giving it to my kids, and she broke completely out, like in blisters, to where she had busting to scabs.
How old is she?
She's 1 year old.
And how long do you generally put her in the bath for?
I maybe put her in the bath for about 5 seconds ever since this started. So
Before that, it was a little longer?
yeah, we was in there for about a good 30 minutes.
We don't shower. I pour water into a pan.
So I'm not going to show you anymore because Ty will kill me. That was just a little sneak peek. But as you could see, I interviewed Jasmine, who was the woman with her 1-year-old baby sitting on her lap. Interviewed her probably for a half hour. And essentially, we found out later that what they were doing was not a lead test in her house. They were checking the chlorine levels. So that's what that dipstick is that they dropped in. But they told her water was fine. Well, they moved into that house in May of this year. Her daughter didn't have any rashes, any white blisters, no nothing. Her anemia, which she's had her whole life, was quasi under control. They move into that house. All of a sudden, her 1-year-old baby has rashes turning into white blisters all over her arm, her leg, and her ears. I spoke with her 5-year-old son. He's forgetting numbers. Used to be able to count to 30, now forgets after about 13 or 14. Forgetting letters in the alphabet. We don't know if that's from lead exposure before he moved into that house, because they were living in Flint. But overall, you're talking to a 5-year-old and he can't remember numbers and letters. God knows the cognitive issues her 1-year-old baby might be having. And Jasmine, just like a large number of people, Flint is 42% impoverished by the percentages. I think it's way worse than that. A lot of these people don't even have cars. So even when there was water stations around Flint, it wasn't easy for them to go get water. But now you shut down the water pods, so people like Jasmine have no ability to get free water. These are people on welfare because all of Flint's jobs have been sold to China and Mexico, which is a much bigger story and problem, preceding the water crisis, which we get into a little bit in the documentary. So you're basically forcing impoverished, poor, largely black people, but a lot of poor white people there too, to drink contaminated water. And by the way, the governor of Michigan, Rick Snyder, who frankly should be in jail, declared the water restored. He declared the water restored in April, and as a result, shut down those water pods based on the data we found was manipulated. Well, they moved in May. So the water's restored, yet a 1-year-old is getting white rashes and blisters all over her legs, all over her arms, all over her ears. And you want to tell me about Russia and trolls and tweets while this is going on in America? It's not a sexy topic, right? It doesn't get all the clicks. Who wants to look at people being poisoned? Who wants to look at 1-year-old babies with white blisters all over their legs and arms? This is not only exclusive to Flint, by the way. This kind of stuff is happening all over the United States. Water contamination, Native Americans getting cancer from uranium mining. Native Americans have some of the highest cancer rates in the country because we have dumped toxic mines. We have dumped toxic landfills. When I was at the Young Turks, there's a landfill in the St. Louis area that literally has nuclear waste very close to a underground methane fire. I had to put a mask over my face when I was there because it smells that bad. And children have to wear masks when they go outside because it smells that bad. That's in this country. Yet all we are exposed to, all we see all day is propaganda. You know, Trump and the new Cold War. I've always said, have an investigation. The problem is when news and corporate media basically becomes a nonstop food fight, basically becomes sensationalism and nonsense and clickbait and substanceless drivel, people like Jasmine and her baby and all the people in Flint fall through the cracks. And that's why I go back to Flint. Because Flint is ground zero for all of this. If you allow this to be normalized in Flint, if the cameras leave, which pretty much all of them have, if the microphones leave, then you are giving every other corrupt Republican or Democrat, frankly, the playbook on how to get away with environmental genocide. And by the way, even though the story hasn't exploded to the point it should explode, we were able to break this story because you sent us there. We went in the fall, we went in the summer for several weeks and the fall. This story would have not broken unless you funded us to go there. We don't have some mega investor in status coup. We are looking for funding, but we don't have that yet. So we're growing based on GoFundMe, and we're also growing based on membership. We're still trying to grow our membership. We haven't been pushing it as much as the GoFundMe, but we're starting to push membership. So, you know, people can shit on the corporate media till they're blue in the face, but until we together build the media we want to see, I just put the link in the super chat at $5 a month, $10 a month. We're also going to have a higher plan because a lot of people have asked me, can they contribute more? Until people put their money where their mouth is, and not everyone could do it. $5 a month or $10 a month. A lot of people don't have it. People are living paycheck to paycheck. I get it. But until we stop only bitching about how awful the corporate media is and put our money where our mouth is to fund actual journalism in the field that knocks on doors and exposes these things, I always tell you, the corruption in this country is always out in the open. You want to know why? Because the corrupt are super, super arrogant and lazy. And they don't expect journalists to actually look because 99.9% of the journalists are part of their corrupt system. Nobody from the environmental agency thought a journalist, or two journalists, it was Jen and I, would knock on 450 doors. In the sweltering heat, by the way. Jen was spending time away from her kids doing this. I was doing this post-back surgery, running up and down all over Flint. We do this because we care. We don't do this to become media stars, or we'd like to make a lot of money because we need to eat and we want to grow a company. My goal is not to be the face of status quo. My goal is to create many, many faces because this country is so corrupt, it's going to take a lot more than me or Jen or Ty. It's going to take a whole lot of aggressive reporters, trust me. But this is happening out in the open. And by the way, stay tuned for this documentary because if you think that was sad, if you think that was infuriating, wait till you see the rest.